Saw a TikTok this morning that said that the majority of Canadians over the age of 55 support the Liberals. And that doesn't surprise me one bit, because if you're over 55, you'll remember some things. You'll remember the miserable, miserable years of the Harper government where they were just slashing everything for the sake of tax cuts for their wealthy connections. Were on a weird, bizarre social agenda, racist social agenda, talking about old stock Canadians and having racist tip lines to out your neighbors if they were doing something that was un-Canadian. It was ugly. The only thing that did protect us during that time was our independent Bank of Canada, right? The Bank of Canada is independent. And I remember, if you've been around a long time, you remember Mark Carney sitting there beside David Dodge, who was a great governor of the Bank of Canada, and then Mark Carney taking that job over. And of course, we're old enough to remember that under Paul Martin as the finance minister, we had a balanced budget. And that, again, was something Mark Carney had his hand in. And then most of us who are older recognize the value of education, right? Lots of young people, it's been sort of devalued in the last few years. You've got these right-wing male podcasters who talk about, who devalue education. Well, I'll take a person with a PhD from Oxford in economics over someone who took 8 years to complete their BA at the University of Calgary and then never held a job in the private sector. It just is so clear for me and for most of the people who have been around that the best interest of Canada is served by making sure that Mark Carney remains our prime minister. So yes, people over 55 overwhelmingly supporting the Liberals doesn't surprise me as a person over the age of 55. I've been around. I've seen the damage that the Conservatives do, and I get the very clear sense that the current Conservatives are seriously and significantly worse than any Conservatives we've had in the past, because these are not progressive Conservatives, right? Remember, they actively made the decision when the Reform Party basically took over the Progressive Conservative Party. They actively made the decision to get rid of the word progressive, to eliminate it and just call themselves conservative. And that is because of the freaky Christian conservatives that were in the Reform Party didn't want to be progressive. That's the reason. So yeah, makes perfect sense to me that people in my age group and other people who have been around and seen at least 5 decades of life in this country would be supporting the Liberals over the Conservatives.